In the foothills of the Flinders Ranges in South Australia is a small township by the name of Booleroo Centre. And it's the home of a spectacular example of an innovative company, Collin Engineering. Now, Collin Engineering manufacture farming machinery. And 40 odd years ago, they weren't totally happy with the machinery they were using, so decided to make their own. Now, they license their IP all over the world, to the US, to Denmark. I had the opportunity of meeting with Shane Kelly, who's the Managing Director of Collin Engineering. A really lovely, lovely guy. A spectacular story of how they started life, but also an incredible example of a company innovating really, really well.
It's a diamond effect. So these are literally just chains with a swivel at each end. As it drags along the ground, the chains are rolling. So these guys here link together, a hook and an eye. So every successive disc links together to form a chain. So then with the 4 long chains on the machine, rolling at about that angle, 45 degrees, just as they roll, just the shape of the disc, it's a bit of a sharp edge, just cuts about 1 inch deep, just rolls everything, flicks everything to the surface. And with the heavier machine, the disc chain, on basically the same frame, it actually cultivates a little, it's gentler on the soil, you're not breaking up soil structure down 6 inches, so really only working in the top inch, and prepares a fantastic seed beds. For about, let's pick some numbers, say $5 an acre, you can control your weeds with this, versus $20 an acre with a herbicide pass. And we're talking guys of 15, 20,000 hectares. One pass would pay for their machine in the savings on chemical. So in 1 year they've paid for the capital of return simply by not spraying chemical. Second year they get to use it for free. The 10th year they're still using it for free.
You should put prices up.
Yeah. We get typically 100,000 acres out of a set of chains. So
100,000 acres?
Yeah, so unheard of sort of numbers. In the States, when we went over there with this new product and so, what's the wear life, what's the warranty on it? We said, well, we'll guarantee it for 100,000 acres, and they laughed, they wouldn't believe that. So I said, oh well, we'll guarantee it for 50,000 acres then. 50's pretty good, yeah, we'll buy 50. Neighbours got to hear that we were making one, and a few others did, and can you build us one too? Yeah, okay, so it got to stage we were going to build 12 or 6 of these things. By the time we'd made 30 the first season, we suddenly realised that shit, this engineering caper might have some value. We could have gone and bought one, but I guess we figured we could make one ourselves and save the cash.
And at the same time make a bit of cash.
Yeah, make a second one or a third one, and at least break even or be in front. So 3/4 of the country was in drought every year from sort of 03 to 06, and we just couldn't get ahead. We were turning over about 3 million in 2002, and we were still turning that over in the beginning of 2006. So we made a lot of improvements, but there was just no extra market to be had.
Right.
Out of need as much as anything, we've got to find another market somewhere. The US seemed like a logical place. Well, we didn't really target anything. We had done our research for a couple of years and thought the US would be a logical place, but didn't know where to start. Australia convinced us to come with them to California to a big field day in February '06. There's about 22 other Australian businesses. Right. Some long-term exporters, some brand new like us, wondering where to start. And it was a good week with these guys, on the bus for a couple of hours every day to and from. The really interesting time was sharing with those other 20 Australian businesses who were exporting or learning how to export or trying to export. In July, a guy called Steve Hood from Missouri rang me. He was this marketing guy who was looking for a product. Yeah, he trusted me to take a risk, and I trusted him to let me take a risk. Basically
calculated risk.
So basically, providing I took the risk, he was happy to be a part of it. So we did exactly that. We bundled the machine up in a container in September and took it over.
What was the downside though?
Could have lost all our IP.
Oh, that's pretty big downside, isn't it?
That was probably the main one. Yeah. And we went over there without any patent protection. And thought, oh well, we'll just get it over there and get it into the market and make it first. But once the guys saw it, they convinced me that now that we've seen it, put a blanket over it until you go and see the patent.
Wow!
So we did pretty much straight away. If we've got to wait till we know all the answers, it'll be too late. Somebody else will be doing it. That's how we'll find out the answers. So we've got to go and discover the answers for ourselves. Team leader meeting meetings, they're expected to bring their diary every week and their teams and ideas that the guys have thought of during the week. And it'll be simply constraints. You know what it is that's holding us up from getting our incentive this week? Well, I had to wait for the forklift every day because it's always over there, or this jig takes a lot of working around because it doesn't load easily or it doesn't unload easily, or why don't we shift that rack over close so we're not having to go and get stuff all the time? Just all sorts of little things. If we had a bigger welder, or if we had 2 forklifts, or anything they think of, we encourage them to write that down and bring to us every week, and try and incentivise for the best ideas or the most ideas, and try and make sure that we incorporate as many of them as we can to encourage generation of more ideas. So no, we're not the clever ones. We ask the guys to be the clever ones. In reality, we never made a mistake, never made a decision. I think it's a fair call. So given the guys, there's almost never been a real serious penalty for making a mistake. Sometimes we'll sit down and we'll go through, how could that have been done better? But somebody even recently did a $10,000 mistake. I'm not going to make too many of those, but he's still working at it. He won't make the same mistake again.
Or you learn from it, or you discover.
And we'll all learn from it. Or we're just error-proofing the jigs much more than we thought we had as a result. So the business learns from it.
Yeah, cool.
So you try not to have too many of them, but yeah, if you're going to trust people to do the job, you're going to have some mistakes, and everybody learns as a result. We get to a particular size, but I've brought in skills from other areas. I hired the CEO from the hospital, which you wouldn't think would be the right place to bring somebody into an engineering business, but he brings with him financial, HR, quality and risk. Fantastic group, and a really good bloke with it, so fantastic group of skills. I've taken on a guy out of automotive who's running analysed our systems and improving our systems and just basically working on the manufacturing side of stuff. The guy in the States really pushes us for quality, so it's excellent. We've got somebody.
Yeah.
So everybody brings something to the business, and why not? Some guys are asking it to do a little bit more. It does a great job on the stubble, but it also gets out a fair few summer weeds. Can you make it get all the summer weeds? So we made the discs heavier, then we put a curve in them. Just kept adapting to what the customers were after in different soil types and conditions. They didn't say, make it like this, make it like that. We think, but they were after. They had a need they wanted solved. They could see that it was doing a good job. Could we make it do a better job?
So you're one of these unique organisations that actually listen to their client base.
Yeah, maybe that's our point of difference.
Wow.
We're world specialists in these particular tools, so that's a bit of a unique position to be in. Not too many manufacturers get to have a niche worldwide all of themselves. So they can't last forever. So we could sort of say, all right, we're making these now, let's rush off and invent the next big thing. We spend all that time on R&D and inventiveness and don't commercialise anything. Whereas this is a bit of a rare and unique, so it's the make hay while the sun shines type scenario. I understand that now is the time for these products. So we'll spread our risk geographically. So what we're doing, we're in the midst of trying to shore up our production with the US. We believe we currently service about 30 or 40% of the annual demand in the US for this particular product without any changes to its efficacy. We're working hard to make it more effective in really heavy stubbles, which will quadruple its market opportunity. So there's some big opportunities there for us. So if we ensure our production capacity up there, and I'm looking at it in a couple of ways, that then frees up our Booleroo plant to do more development, more product development. So we're starting to get some really good inquiry out of Russia and Kazakhstan and so on. So that's exciting.
Does it keep you awake at night? The potential is good Lord.
It's just exciting to think what we can do with it.